Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to discuss the next question of our agriculture optional answer writing practice series. And the question for today is enunciate the reasons for waterlogging and describe the various management strategies to mitigate waterlogging. So if you see the question, you can divide the question in two parts, that is reason for waterlogging and management strategies to mitigate waterlogging. And this question was asked in this year's agriculture optional paper of UPSC Civil Services examination, that is in 2025 UPSC CSE. So let's see how we can approach the answer. So first of all, in the introduction part, you can simply define what waterlogging is. So let's define waterlogging. I think that would be a very good start if we start with the definition of waterlogging and then move to the regions and management strategies. So waterlogging is a condition. Waterlogging is a condition of land where the water table where the water table where the water table rises close to or above the root zone, rises close to and above the root zone, okay, without being properly drained, without being properly drained, leading to reduced aeration, and all these things can lead to reduced aeration, okay, impaired root growth or reduced root growth, effect on root growth, affecting root growth, and declining crop productivity or declining cropping yield. So this is how you can define waterlogging. So it is a condition of land where the water table rises close to or above the root zone. Suppose this is field and this is the water table, this is our root zone. So it has risen above the root zone and without being properly drained. It has risen and not being able to drain properly. That is kind of the water is getting stagnant, the water is getting logged in the region, okay, and which is leading to reduced aeration in the roots, because if the water is filled in the root zone, the air exchanges in the root zone is not properly happening, which can reduce the aeration of root zone, okay, and if there will be not proper aeration in the soil, the root growth will be decreased, okay, the root growth will be affected, which in turn will reduce our cropping productivity, or which in turn will reduce our cropping yield. So this is how you can define waterlogging. So I hope you understand it. Now if you see the first part of the question in the body, it is asking us about regions for waterlogging. So we will first discuss it, regions for waterlogging. So what are the regions? First and foremost is the faulty irrigation practices, that is over irrigation. We tend to give more water than the requirement, okay. So over irrigation leads to waterlogging, where there are various irrigation methods such as surface flow irrigation, and if surface flow irrigation is wrongly used, it leads to waterlogging. Secondly, seepage from canals, reservoirs and tanks. Seepage from canals, reservoirs and tanks. Any seepage from any water sources can lead to waterlogging in the agricultural field, okay. Poor natural drainage is another problem. The drainage is not proper. If the drainage is not proper, the excess water cannot kind of move out of the field, which will lead to a problematic waterlogging. So poor natural drainage, or you can simply write poor drainage instead of writing natural, okay. Higher rainfall is another reason. Accumulation of water due to high rainfall. You can also mention flooding here. Flooding can be also a region of waterlogging, high rainfall or flooding, okay. Obstruction of subsurface drainage. Obstruction of subsurface drainage. What happens? Not only surface, but if the soil is there, some amount of water gets drained in the subsurface also through leaching and through other things. So if there is any kind of obstruction in the subsurface drainage, it also leads to waterlogging. For example, you have heard about the term puddling, that is operation during the cultivation or transplantation of rice. So due to frequent puddlings, a hard pan becomes in the lower regions in subsurface of soil. So due to this hard pan accumulation, also waterlogging can happen, which is due to puddling activity. So that is what can be another cause, that is obstruction of subsurface drainage. Shallow water table. Shallow water table. If the water table is shallow, obviously a lot of water will be above root zone also. Okay. And another you can mention deforestation and land usage changes, because what happens, forest or trees transpire a lot of water. So deforestation reduce the transpirational loss from the soil, and that can also lead to water logging. Okay, deforestation and land use changes. Okay, because trees transpire water, which can kind of prevent waterlogging. Soil compaction, which I have discussed just now, that due to continuous plogging, continuous tillage, heavy machinery use, there is hard pan formation. The soil becomes compact, and the storage amount of water or the infiltration rate of soil decreases. Infiltration decreases, but hard pans are formed under the subsurface of soil, which can lead to waterlogging. So these are the some of the regions for waterlogging, and we have discussed important 7-8 regions, and I think if you write 6-7 regions from here, it would be enough for your answer. Now if you see the second part of the question, it is asking us about the management strategies to mitigate waterlogging. So we will see management strategies to management strategies to mitigate waterlogging. So there are various management strategies, so we can structure it well. So first of all, we can mention about number A, that is engineering or structural measures. Engineering slash, there are various management strategies, so you can kind of arrange it properly, so your answer looks good. Engineering and structural measures. So in engineering and structural measures, you can mention about surface drainage. Surface drainage. We can construct open field drains. We can construct collector drains. Construction of open field drains, collector drains, divergent channels. So all these things can help. Okay. So along with surface drainage, we can also do subsurface drainage. Subsurface drainage, that is through kind of using horizontal or vertical drainage in the surface. Horizontal and vertical drainage. Vertical drainage, you can mention about tube wells. So tube wells are like this. So what it does, it kind of reduce or it kind of increases the infiltration rate of water. So subsurface drainage can be done. We can do lining of canals. Lining of canals to avoid excess seepage from canals. We should focus on controlled irrigation structures. Controlled irrigation structures, so that the water is not logged too much. Okay, we should use proper field channels. Proper field channels should be there. Proper water courses should be there, so that the water can move through these courses efficiently, and drainage is good, water distribution is good. So all these things can be mentioned in engineering or structural measures. Similarly, there are various agronomic measures also, which you can mention. Agronomic measures to kind of control this waterlogging. First of all, we should focus on efficient irrigation methods. For example, we can use drip irrigation or sprinkler irrigation. Secondly, we should use suitable crops if there is some waterlogging. So we will use water tolerant crops. Waterlogging tolerant crops. There are various crops which can be grown in areas with waterlogging. For example, rice is one, jute is one. So all these examples you can mention. We should focus on conjunctive use of water. Conjunctive use of water, so that every water, about groundwater or kind of rainfall water, all the kinds of water surface water can be used well, and we should also keep in mind drainage and other things, avoiding waterlogging. And we should focus on kind of overall improved agronomic practices. We should do ridge and furrow planting, raised bed systems can be mentioned, a very important point, raised bed planting, so that the if waterlogging is there, we will raise the bed to avoid this. Okay, alternate wetting and drying methods. So all these things can be mentioned in agronomic measures. So similarly, we can also write some biological and other measures, biological measures. Biological or general other measures I mentioned which have left. Okay, you can mention about afforestation or agroforestry, you can mention that, because what happens, trees near the field prevent waterlogging. There are various trees, for example, eucalyptus is one. Eucalyptus, eucalyptus is one tree which can kind of hide evapotranspiration rate. So if in waterlogged areas we plant eucalyptus, it will transpire more and reduce the water content of the soil, preventing waterlogging. Secondly, we should focus on, here you can also measure a word, biopumps, that is use of tree with high transpiration rate so that they pump excess amount of water from soil, preventing waterlogging. We should focus on crop rotations, you can mention this in agronomic measure also. Okay, we should include crops with low water requirements with crops with high water requirements. So what happens, in dry spells the low water requirement crop is grown, and during waterlogging and high water spells we should grow crops with high water requirement. So that could be then. We should regulate groundwater pumping. Okay, groundwater pumping should be regulated, because due to faulty irrigation practices, a lot of water is pumped from the ground, surface irrigation is done, which becomes a problem of waterlogging, which leads to the problem of waterlogging. So these are the various measures we have discussed. We have discussed 4, 4, 8 and 3, 11 measures, and if you kind of structure your measures like this, you will get good amount of marks. So I hope you understand both the parts of the question. And in conclusion, you can mention that yes, waterlogging leads to kind of a lot of crop productivity decrease, a lots of yield decrease. So involving or doing integrated management practices can help. Okay, it can help in increased production. It can lead to efficient use of water, and overall it will be good for the kind of agricultural ecosystem. So that is how you can write a good conclusion. So I hope you understand all the parts of the question. You understand what waterlogging is, what are the regions of waterlogging, and how we can manage waterlogging. So this was all for today. If you like it, please press the like button. Please do share and please do subscribe. It takes a lot of hard work to make such videos for you on regular basis. And if you like, if you share, if you subscribe, it motivates us to make more such videos for you regularly. So that is all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.